We've got home games at Citizens Bank Park. That will be happening next week. We're dancing, we're celebrating, we're closer to the official start of Red October as we're winding down the regular season games. But the most exciting part of this all is we talked about it here on PHLY Phillies podcast of what the team needs to do, what we were looking forward to, and it happened from Aaron Nola to Johan Rojas and much more that we've got to get into. So welcome to the show. I'm Renee Washington, joined by Jamie Lynch. And Jamie, honestly, I forgot the cigars and the champagne, but I'm still in a high from last night of just excitement. How you feeling coming off of just that playoff clinching victory?
That was pretty great. You know, to do it in the fashion they did it was a little bit of a torture in the moment, but it almost made it sweeter. Peace, love, and Rojas, as Brandon Marsh was saying in the locker room after the game. Pretty awesome to see him get a Paul Owens Award before the game with Orion, and then get, I believe since 1930 or something they said, the first walk-off clinching hit by the Phillies, and it goes to the young kid, Johan Rojas, who has, in my opinion, played his way into an everyday role in the playoffs. You know, there's plenty of time to discuss rotations and bullpen rotations and all that stuff, but Rojas is hard to keep out of the lineup. He's kind of got that clutch factor that the rest of this team has.
Yes. The 16th playoff appearance and the first time clinching at home since 2011 for the Phillies. And we're dancing. Welcome into you guys in the chat. I loved so many things about yesterday, minus the way the game started in the beginning. But we'll get into that. Right now, we're talking all positives. We won't get into that too much, too quickly. But afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Yes, peace, love, and Rojas. Dancing on my own is back in full effect. We've got Garrett Stubbs in the overalls, had everybody's overalls for them in the clubhouse. Of course, he was the only one that was prepared and had them on ready to go. The playlist was booming. Also, the fact they were rocking a lot of Lil Wayne, whose birthday is today, ironically.
Oh, wow.
So we're dancing on my own. We're rocking the birthday guy, Weezy,
I know
in the clubhouse.
Castellanos is a big Lil Wayne proponent in the
I
locker room.
loved him. Brandon Marsh just kind of...
I got to be honest, the immaturity of me could not help but laugh when Zach Wheeler was getting interviewed by the great Tom McCarthy, and My Dick was playing in the background.
I know.
Very loudly. And Tom, the professional that he was, knew it and was like, you guys want to wait till the end of this song? And then he was trying to it was just like, nah, we're going. It's a party.
I think Zach was also asking that too. Yeah, they both were kind of like, should we wait? Yes. Look, Stubbs is ready. We are all ready. What I love in those moments is when you have a chance to see everybody's personality come out. Like Aaron Nola gave us classic Aaron Nola. He just gives me, he's such like a...
He was very appreciative.
He's very appreciative, still very mild-mannered. Then you have Casty Clutch, Nick Castellanos, and Brandon Marsh just back there rapping a Lil Wayne. You've got Garrett Stubbs just dropping it all over the place in the overalls.
Yeah.
Everybody's personality comes out. Then you had the young ones. And then, of course, we even have Jose Alvarado bringing out the 1942.
He was double-fisting tequila bottles.
Double-fisting. I love that he had the Class A Azul tequila, the 1942 Don Julio bottles in his hand, pouring shots for everybody. Who would you be in the locker room? Which guy would you be? Which area are you?
I'm not a dancer, so it would take a lot for me to dance. I would be spraying champagne and beers on everybody.
Okay.
I would definitely be right up there in Topper's face, letting one fly, as JT did. And I would be double fisting tequilas and hopefully having my wife drive home. And I would just be partying without dancing, probably screaming a lot and spraying bottles.
Yeah, I definitely, it's funny, I know we tweeted out, Trey Turner went right in for the tequila, he skipped over the champagne. I think I'm skipping over the champagne to drink. I'm spraying the champagne in one hand, I'm probably drinking in the other. But yeah, it is, I think I'm definitely a dancer, so I would definitely be dancing with my cigar.
And there's
Look
a
at
picture.
This shot. Look,
it's awesome.
I'd be right there in the mix. I'm more of a Stubbs vibe in the group. I'm the one that
he had a dance off with Soto, I think, at one point.
Oh yeah.
And I love
they
every
were getting
minute
low. Of that.
Yeah.
Well, look, Stubbs has the knees, as we know. He definitely does.
I hope my man drank some liquid IV or something because he's probably going to be behind the dish today. And I have a feeling, I'm sure you saw Brandon Marsh at Xfinity Live after the game. I don't need the stripper belt off routine and riding the bull, but I'm glad they were having fun. I'm sure those guys are not going to be in tip-top shape today. But after a long season like that and making the playoffs, it was pretty awesome to hear, Rob Thompson go when he was addressing the team before he got sprayed. How many more? And he said, the hard part is getting here. Now we're here. We're built for playoff baseball. And it was pretty awesome to see, Tom McCarthy and the guys in the locker room, every question was, this team is very close, and every player, it was such a genuine, we love each other.
Yeah.
It is such a likable, enjoyable team. I was hooked on the TV last night. I couldn't, get away from that in the Twitter videos. I was up to 12:30 just kind of riding that Phillies high. Yeah,
I honestly was on the edge of my seat, just smiling like a proud mom, I guess. I was just cheesing at the screen. But there were so many great moments, and I just couldn't pull myself away. The lineup, to your question, Greg, has the lineup been released? It's going to be like nobody. I mean, the lineup is whatever. It doesn't matter at this point because everybody, like Stubbs was saying, JT deserves the day off. I'll be out there, I guess. But look, we're not expecting anybody to be in tip-top shape. That was
I think last year after they clinched, I'm pretty positive, Ranger pitched the following day and ended up getting shelled.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So the boys partied last night. Brian Berkey in the chat. If you want to throw a plus 110 Pirates bet in today, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
No.
Definitely not. But they were feeling no pain last night. And it's really shocking as a grown adult how much I enjoy watching them celebrate. It really kind of just warms your heart.
It was awesome. Payoff. It was awesome. And I know Patrick Glynn is talking about the comments made about Trey Turner's wife who's carrying their newborn. And it's late at night. You're carrying a newborn. You've got two young kids. Look, we're not judging anybody for how they celebrate because especially for the wives that have the babies while their husbands are throwing back tequila and champagne. They're excited, but they're also tired. It's a very long season. It's a very long day. And for all of us to see them kind of let loose, I love seeing them each going back out to the field with their kids. Bryson with their wives, their kids, their families. They're taking pictures. They're throwing back shots. Also, we, see them, Rob with no goggles. I was like, Rob? All right, tough guy Thompson. Goggles. I think I'd absolutely have to have goggles.
100% have goggles on.
Just there's no way with everybody just spraying champagne all over the place.
Garrett Stubbs he had a great line. He said this locker room's gonna stink for the next 6 weeks, and I can't wait to be here every day. The way they were talking was supremely confident.
It was.
They expect to be playing up until the World Series again. And the way Rob Thompson was talking about Aaron Nola, we'll get into that. Every statement from them was genuine belief that they're going to be playing late into October. And it was pretty awesome night down at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, Red October is coming. It's here, guys. But look,
when is October 1st? Is that Monday?
Sunday is October 1st.
Okay.
We are already dancing into October. Yeah. But look, it is great to see the celebrations. It is also just, as you talk about, great to hear and everybody's responses as everyone's getting interviewed. Zach, Brandon, Nick. Nick at first was a man of very few words. The first answer of sure had me cracking up, but he got better as the interview went on. And yes, he did say, I know as people were talking about in the chat, he didn't learn a damn thing. But
that was pretty funny.
That was really funny.
What'd you learn this year, Nick? Not a damn thing.
But I did like how you consistently heard, and Brandon really summed it up best. At this point, it's not about anyone individually. It's about us as a team. This is about trying to find, just winning games. It's not a me thing. It's a team thing. We first, as you can say, 13 more wins. Yes, spiral out. I know that was what we were talking about. We've been talking about too, and even the name of the segment or show, I should say. But it's all about winning the next game. It's all about 13 more victories. It's not about any individual performance or the future and what's going to happen in the offseason or the rotation. It's about when my name is called, being ready. And we saw that next man up mentality really play out, obviously, because as we have, and I tweeted out, who's going to be the Phillies player that makes the big play? We've seen it be Bryce Harper. We've seen it be Bryson Stott. We've seen it be Aaron Nola on the mound. And did we expect it to be Hoffman, Rojas, and Pache?
Well, that's the beauty of this team.
I love that.
Literally anybody can get you. I mean, the daycare at the bottom of the order, these kids are awesome. And yes, I can say kids because I think I'm like 15 years older than a lot of them. They're great. They can come up clutch. The heart of the order, I mean, there might not be a more clutch hitter in all of baseball than Bryce Harper and what he's shown you. Alec Boehm with runners in scoring positions been great. JT has that greatness in him. Like Castellanos, if he's eating his Scooby snacks, you never know. It's the entire lineup can hurt you. And not every team can say that. Because playoff baseball is... It is nerve-wracking. It is gut-wrenching. It is. It's not like any other sport to me.
Yeah.
It's more, I don't know, torturous and exhilarating. Like football, basketball, hockey. Hockey, you're on the edge of your seat. But like football and basketball to me are more like. I don't live and die by every moment. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like in football, I can kind of like rationalize like, all right, well, you got to stop here. Baseball, you kind of never know what's going to happen. And I'm kind of biting my nails and one hit can change an entire series. And there's just so many X factors to how games can be won and lost that it's like truly exhilarating and torturous. Like the highs are so high and the lows are so low. It's what makes playoff baseball so great.
You know, I think when you think about baseball compared to other sports, it is a little bit more momentum predictable. And yes, momentum is key
Huge.
in baseball as well, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that is what makes it so unpredictable. You don't know when a pitcher is going to get hot or drop off, or when the bats are going to get hot, or depending on who's on base and if you have runners in scoring position. There are so many factors. I mean, who would have thought yesterday's game, especially after us on the show talking about how the offense has surprised us and dropping all these nuggets of records that we've been seeing broken, and how well they've been doing with hitting home runs, especially at Citizens Bank Park, to then be tied up 2-2. And the game come down to a walk-off hit. Nobody, like I would not have predicted that, but it's so unpredictable day to day, especially when you look at the bullpen being such a huge factor and the rotation of that it makes it a whole different level of nerve-wracking and exciting and exhilarating. And we felt that last night of just the ups and downs of like a slow no-hitter to start. Finally, you know, Brandon Marsh opens things up. And then,
as my daughter Skylar calls him, Brandon Martian. So she likes calling him Brandon Martian, which
that's cute. I've
embraced it too.
I like that.
But that was a clutch hit for him last night. It was pretty awesome to break up a no-hitter going yard to right field. It was, and what up, Tyreek Bailey in the chat? Thanks for hopping in. Yes, I noticed that as well. Alec Boehm was absolutely lit by the time John Clark got to him. He had that look in his eyes of like, I know I'm talking about our team in baseball here, but there's a party going on I kind of want to get back to.
I liked that as the interviews went on, the answers got a little bit slower, and you can tell it was, look,
I have to think about what I'm saying
for
here.
all of us that drink, there's like that in between where the liquor starts to hit, but you're not fully drunk yet. So you can still have meaningful conversation, at least you think. But you just have to slow it down a notch. And that's where they were. It's like, this is not the first sip. We've been drinking. We've been taking shots. The party's been going on. And you're asking me questions and sticking a camera in my face. And I have to make sure I'm answering this as professionally as I can. Otherwise, I'm going to be going viral for all the wrong reasons. So
I appreciated Alec
chuckle.
Boehm asking the cameraman if the camera was waterproof before he gave it a champagne shower. That was very polite of him. And if you had Kyle Schwarber as the first guy to get to the champagne bottles in the clubhouse, I was watching intently. I was like, because it was kind of shocking me. Guys were going to their locker before grabbing beers. And Schwarber and Trey Turner were like right over there, like, give me these damn bottles. Let's pop them. Let's have some fun. Yeah. And those are some of, the leaders of the team. And Kyle Schwarber was leading the fun there last night. It was just an awesome, awesome night. Never gets old. I've been in the locker room for two of them. And it was a long time ago. I still like distinctly remember it as just like an incredible night. And I was working. And I was still like, wow, this is really cool.
Well, it is also cool to see the veterans, the guys that have been in this spot before, whether it was last year or just in general in their career, that were the ones that walked in the clubhouse kind of showing this is how we party.
Yeah,
this is how we
enjoy
let loose. This is like, so Kyle in that moment was kind of like opening the door for everybody else a little bit of like, it's time to celebrate. You know, we've got the plastic up covering the lockers. We've got all the different tequila and champagne. We've got the goggles. It's time to let loose and party. And as they were talking about, these guys play so much baseball. They spend so much time together that they are, I mean, the family word is cliche, but it's the truth. I mean, you're spending hours and hours and hours of days together for the majority of the year, in the course of a 12-month year, and now you have a chance to just like hang with your buddies. Like, it felt like a college frat house vibe for me again. Like I was like feeling like you're back in college. Yeah. It's just like you and the buddies just bouncing around, dancing, letting loose, doing ridiculous things. We saw Robert Dale, Mr. Bobby himself, getting involved with it too, was doing a little bit of, a little something. But I like seeing how they let loose and also knowing that they earned it and they worked so hard to get to this point to be able to celebrate at Citizens Bank Park the moment that they had after the picture when the crowd just roared and was applauding them. Like, those are the moments you never forget about.
Yeah, and watching John Middleton throw the bucket of baseballs into the crowd. Yeah, he almost fell over twice. I was like, John. And real interesting, he was barefoot in the locker room. He was having a blast. Because he's that's all right. Let the feet. That's good.
No, don't let the feet go.
That's good. That's good rugs down there. That feels good. So let loose, Jay Middleton. You spent a lot of money. You deserve this. And I think it was Tom McCarthy saying, like this is genuine excitement because even before he was this billionaire, he grew up a Phillies fan. So he feels it the same way I do. I would have been chucking baseball. He was throwing some missiles into the stands. Yeah, like I hope everybody was looking because he launched a couple in there pretty hard. But it was really cool to see, and it was a great night to be a Phillies fan. And the beauty of it is they don't get lost. Like, you can celebrate because it's such a long season, as you said, without losing focus of the goal. You have until Sunday, Monday to get right. The games are going to be hopefully just Tuesday and Wednesday. And make sure you follow along on our social media accounts at PHLY_sports and at PHLY_Phillies. We are going to have some tickets to give away. Woo woo. I believe we'll be going to game 2. Hopefully we can hang out with some of you, but I believe we'll have game 1 and game 2 tickets to give away. So pay attention on our social media channels for your ways to win those. I would love to cheers a couple beers with Ryan or Tim or John or Barbara or Greg or Tyreek or Spiral Out
Come
or
party with us.
All you nuts that are in the chat here all the time. We appreciate you guys. We want to party with you. So really looking forward to next week. It's going to be awesome. I don't really give a damn what happens the rest of the year.
No.
These next 5 games don't really matter to me because thank you, Atlanta Braves. To our friends at CHGO Cubs.
Sorry, not sorry.
You're having the opposite day of what we're having right now because that fly ball that was dropped, that was the turning point in the game last night. I don't know how you allow that to happen, but the Braves did the Phillies a huge favor there and secured home field. So thank you, Atlanta Braves.
To also be up so much. And I mean, look, we know baseball can swing quickly, but at this point in the season, to drop that loss, 7 runs unanswered at this point of the season, ouch. We don't know what that feels like. We don't know what that feels like. But yeah, we've got Jello shots happening off of Jamie's knees on Broad Street. That's a little gross.
If you're willing, yeah, sure. That doesn't. I am pretty clean.
I'm not doing that. I am pretty clean.
I take like 2 showers a day, ideally.
Do you really?
Yeah, I love showers.
Oh, that's not good for your skin to take that many showers every day.
I mean, it's not every day, but if I could, I would.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was going to say, every day you're just dropping these random things that we're learning about you. I can't
so my knees are clean, but, if you want to do a Jello shot off my knee, I guess.
Yeah, you guys can do that. I'll watch and cheer you on. Honestly, we do have... I'm glad, Tim, you said you've got your tickets, and also you were saying that today's game probably an L. Look, like James said, we don't care what happens. The rest of this, just stay healthy, get through the remainder of the regular season, and let's look towards being ready for game 1. Like Jamie said, we'll be there for game 2. Hopefully, you guys will be there with us and definitely have a chance to win some tickets, which is very exciting. I know Ryan was also mentioning that you're struggling. to have that downtime between our PHLY shows. I'm so sorry that you have a 30-minute break in between, but that's a great time to prepare for the next show, refill a drink, go grab a snack, get your favorite socks and shoes ready to be comfy.
I'll be wearing flip-flops, hopefully. If you remember last Red October, it was kind of unseasonally warm.
It was.
It wasn't like these cold baseball games.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty warm. And judging by the weekend forecast, and I think early next week, it looks pretty damn nice. So it's going to be great. And
you stole a cow?
I stole a cow?
Did you steal a cow?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is that this Jamie?
I always did want to go cow tipping after seeing Tommy Boy.
No, I think that's so sad.
Is it? They're all right, right?
No, are they all right?
I think so. I think they just fall over.
Does that hurt? I don't know. I feel like that's not healthy for cows.
I mean,
they got such little legs.
It's
and
better
big
than
bodies.
getting slaughtered, which they eventually do. So, I'm going to be trying to give my liver a little break before next week.
I don't know how
I
our
wanted to
shows
crack
are
a
gonna
beer
be,
last
guys.
night, but I was like, I'm gonna give myself some time.
Here's the tricky part, guys. We
gotta
are
be a professional
doing
here.
pregame and postgame shows for the Phillies playoff, every single playoff game. So yesterday was the day I was like, gosh, I wish we were doing a postgame show, but it's gonna be here very soon. So we might also be, hey, bringing the drinks to the show. Bring the shots, bring the whiskey, bring the wine.
Yeah.
Let's get lit.
So I'm trying to give myself a couple days breathing room. We are going out this Saturday. Today is my wife and I's anniversary.
That's right. Happy anniversary.
So happy anniversary, Addie. Love you. So we're going out Saturday night. But outside of that, I think I'm really going to hydrate. I'm going to maybe carbo load, really try and get my body
You've already
and
been
liver
dehydrated.
prepared for another Red October because, I feel good about this team. Ricky Bowe said it. My buddy Rick last night, he said, I think the Phillies are going to have a really good shot at this. And seeing the way they were talking in the locker room and reacting and how good this offense is and how good Aaron Nola was. That was his last start because Sunday's his next scheduled day. He's probably going to be pitching on Wednesday. So I don't expect to see Aaron Nola pitch on Sunday. He'll probably throw in his regular rest just to get some movement on the arm and stay in his rhythm a little bit. But Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are both entering the playoffs pitching pretty well. And when you have the two of them pitching pretty well, I really believe that you can compete with anybody in Major League Baseball. And this team's really freaking exciting right now. The offense is awesome. Like we talked about, to see a Rojas come up clutch. Like anybody can catch these hands. You know what I mean? Like, bring it on. Braves, screw you. Dodgers, screw you. If it's the Diamondbacks or Cubs, screw you all. Anybody can come to Citizens Bank Park and get their ass kicked.
And anybody can come to Citizens Bank Park and use the Game Time app to do
Boom.
that. You can head on over to the Game Time app.
That's a pro right there.
The Game Time app has you covered. You can use the code PHLY, get $20 off of your purchase to be able to buy tickets to head over to the Citizens Bank Park or any other game for that matter to be able to come catch these hands that Jamie is dishing out.
Oh, yeah.
But let's unpack what led to the game. Starting with Aaron Nola.
He was phenomenal.
Aaron Nola was phenomenal. Hit the 200 strikeout mark, which in itself was historic. For the fifth time, Aaron Nola passed 200 strikeouts in a season. Steve Carlton, who has 7, is the only pitcher in a 141 season history of the franchise to have more 200 strikeout seasons. We also saw Aaron Nola become the second Phillies pitcher ever to clinch back-to-back postseason games, I guess, back-to-back seasons of clinching a playoff game. There we go. Words with friends. And
I used to like that game.
Jamie, it's just been great to see Aaron Nola, who, as he talked about post-game, has had an up-and-down season. We've all been talking about it. We've been following it. We've been picking him apart. And Aaron Nola, 11-4, is the record for the Phillies when Aaron Nola starts. So as much as we pick at Aaron Nola, as much as Aaron Nola struggled in the early parts of September, the Phillies are 11-4 in Aaron Nola starts. And as Rob Thompson said, he still is the big game pitcher that they know they can rely on. So I was happy to hear his post-game thoughts because it was great to hear just how he's continued to be optimistic. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's a vet. He's seasoned. He's been here before. He knows what this grind is like, and he knows what he can bring to the mound. And we saw it done last night, and it's just a well-done performance and a well-deserved ovation for him with the tip of the hat as he walked off the field. So I love that moment for Aaron Nola. The city's behind you. We're still rooting for you. We still know how great you are, Aaron Nola, and we're ready for you to help lead us into the playoffs. It was a great moment.
He's the X factor in all this. It was a really cool moment for him. You know, first pitcher since Jamie Moyer to clinch back-to-back years for a pitcher on the Phillies. So that's really cool. You know, one of the longest tenured Phillies on the team. Saw the bad side of things. Now he gets to see the good side of things. And it was a really cool ovation walking off the field last night. And I believe he went 6 2/3 last year in the clinching game. Wonder if Rob Thompson pulled him at 6 2/3 just to have that weird kismic like baseball karma out there in the world. But it was just a stellar night. And Jeff Hoffman, we'll talk about the bullpen coming up in a little bit. He once they got that, I was supremely confident they were about to walk it off. Like once he got out of that jam, I was just like, all right, that's all they needed. They're good. They got this because of that stupid freaking ghost runner. But yeah, Hoffman has been incredible. And for me, he's my setup guy in the playoffs. I trust him a lot in high leverage situations. I think he's earned the chance to do it. Kimbrel, we'll talk about that more as we lead up to the playoffs because today's a day for celebration. But it's a little sketchy right now. And the great thing to see is Jose Alvarado is back. He's got swing and miss stuff. He's got the cutter moving again, you know, in the low 90s. He's got his gas back. He's my closer, plain and simple. Rob Thompson was talking this morning and said what I wanted to hear, which was that Craig Kimbrel is not necessarily our closer here in the playoffs. It's going to be by committee and by matchups and by the hot hand. So, everything Rob has done and said lately has been right and justified, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for this season. He said last night, this is the most resilient club I've ever been around. And our own Rich Hoffman in his daily newsletter kind of bullet pointed a lot of the stuff that they have been resilient through. And it's kind of more than I realized. And when Rob says that, I don't take him lightly. Canadians don't lie very often. They're very honest.
They don't.
So I trust Rob Thompson when he says it's his most resilient group he's coached. We've seen it all year. There's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows and a lot of injuries. And one of those guys is Reese, and we haven't seen him. And Trey Turner had a really rough 3 or 4 months. And Alvarado and Sir Anthony have been hurt, and there has been a lot they've overcome. So, I think that one felt extra good to all of them last night.
Oh, absolutely. And I know you guys are talking about Craig Kimbrel in the chat. We look, we're positive right now. We're not talking Craig Kimbrel in deep detail like we need to. We will get there of what we're doing with Kimbrel. That's the golden question. What are we doing? But one thing that we are doing is we're seeing just how much Rob Thompson has faith in these guys, and honestly, just that buy-in that everybody has. As you talk about injuries, Rhys Hoskins, I remember early in the season we're talking about Bryce Harper playing first base and working back, and what level is Bryce Harper going to return at? When will he return? And it feels like that was years ago. That was all in the same season that we had Bryce Harper coming back. You look at the injuries that this team has had, especially in the bullpen. It's been a very resilient group because it's just been that next play, next man up focus. That no matter who's on the diamond, no matter who's out there playing, they know we're gonna play Phillies baseball. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna not get too high, not get too low. We're gonna grind out wins. And I think it was Alec Bowman was actually talking about it in the locker room, in the clubhouse post game of, look, we're just winning. Regardless how we win, we find ways to win. And that's what you see from this group. It's not always pretty. Last night was not a pretty game.
No.
By no stretch of the imagination. If anything, it was very much boring. And I was like, holy crap, what is happening here? We were all excited for a clinching game to be all fun, and it was not fun, especially the stretch of no hits. But overall, you see both of these teams not getting hits, not scoring runs. It's a slow game, but what do the Phillies do? They find a way to win, and that's what's made this group so special. Is it has been by committee. It's not just one or two guys you can point to consistently that are leading the Phillies. And for last night's heroes to be a rookie and Rojas, Hoffman, Christian, to have them be the names that are stepping up, making the big plays, scoring the run, getting the walk-off hit. When we talked about on the show yesterday specifically, the new kids on the block. We were talking about Orion and Johan, and look who helps deliver. Johan. It's phenomenal to see the decisions that have been made by Rob. And I know we've attacked Rob at times. We all do. But Rob
that's the nature of
continued,
baseball.
Yeah, and we're going to. But Rob and the whole staff has continued to make decisions, taken risks. It's paid off in a big way. And now we're dancing into Red October because of it.
Yeah, and they're playing their best baseball they have in a long time. A lot of things are just coming together all seemingly at the right time. And, they might be the anti-Sixers where they really do play their best come playoff time. It's really awesome to see. For me, the biggest thing, we've talked about it over our first 3 or 4 weeks here, was can Aaron Nola kind of look like big game Nola here? He has, check. Can one of Sir Anthony or Alvarado round into form and look like that guy you can count on to close out games for you? Check. Alvarado is there. Is JT going to turn a corner? Check. It appears he's playing really good baseball these final 2 weeks. A lot of the things that I was looking for to feel good heading into these playoffs all happened. And it is a long year, and baseball's a grind. And, hopefully these guys keep it going here. If you did bet the Phillies season over on DraftKings, you cashed. That is a winning ticket. They exceeded their season win total last night. It was either 87.5 or 88.5, depending on where you got it. I believe it was 88.5 on DraftKings. So go cash those tickets, people. Good work by you betting that one. But overall, only the 16th time in 135 years
insane
that they've made the playoffs. That's something to celebrate. It's not very often that they've made the playoffs.
And you guys are making great points in the chat. I agree with you, Chris. This team is absolutely built for October, November. This is a group that, coming off of last year falling short in the World Series, and something that they've continued to reiterate is they see the bigger picture. That was a great learning experience. We all, of course, wish they could have won the World Series, obviously. But having a new season, a new focus, just to take a step back and make some adjustments so that they can go the distance and be ready come World Series to be able to win. So I think this is exactly what we're seeing play out. There have been a lot of frustrating moments. There have been a lot of dips, especially in the summertime, that we saw that had us scratching our head or banging our heads against the wall. I know someone said they just thought the Phillies were going to shit the bed last night, because we've seen that happen. But this team, in all seriousness, absolutely is a favorite. Greg, I agree with you. Definitely a favorite, and they have the depth, they have the pieces, they have, the players that can step up in big moments. They have the bullpen now that we can have confidence with them heading into the postseason. I saw people saying it's going to be lit at Citizens Bank Park. We love winning. We do love winning. But it's just been such a fun time, because it's like everything that's been slowly coming together that we've talked about, Jamie, that needs to be fixed or adjusted, as you mentioned. It's happening.
Yeah, I mean, again, Ricky said it last night on the postgame. He goes, I think the World Series winner is going to come out of the NL this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I completely agree. But when you look at the Braves, their team ERA in September was one of the worst in baseball. They were kind of leaking a little bit of oil. The Dodgers starting rotation is beat up. So, if you're looking at holes to poke in the two teams you really have to worry about, you can find them there. I'm not sure... obviously the Kimbrel bullpen situation is probably one you can point to. Yeah. But offensively, the Phillies don't have any holes. And if Aaron Nola is going to pitch anywhere close to what he's looked like in these last two games, there's really no holes to poke in the Phillies rotation. We'll have to see if Aaron Nola can answer that question. But things seem to be going incredibly right in South Philadelphia, whereas some of those other teams, you can say, well, they've got an Achilles heel there. Yep. The Braves' offense does not have an Achilles heel.
Yep.
So that's why Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are so important if you are able to, get out of that wild card round, which is going to be either the Diamondbacks or the Cubs. I'm assuming the Diamondbacks are the team. I think you sweep the Cubs in 2 games.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks might be a little peskier, but we'll see how that race ends up finishing out here down the stretch. But I think it was Zach Wheeler last night in the locker room. You talk about the vibes at Citizens Bank Park and how just outrageous it is. He said one of the young guys asked me and Harper, is this what it's like in the playoffs, meaning the stadium and the crowd? And he said, huh, this is like a 4 out of 10. If that's a 4 out of 10 last night with, the upper deck not fully packed, I can't wait to get in there and feel the 10 out of 10 because I didn't make it last year to any games. I watched all at home from my house. To get in that stadium and feel that playoff, like when the stadium's shaking and everybody's on the edge of the seat and the towels are going, to feel that at a 10 out of 10 is going to be special. And the players, and this is part of why they're so likable, they know how special it is. They all talk about the stadium and the atmosphere of Citizens Bank Park. And that's what makes this team so likable, is they just kind of overall get it.
Yeah, they do. They do. And that's what makes it more exciting that we'll have a chance to be down there checking out games at Citizens Bank Park, rocking our Phillies gear. If you don't have Phillies gear, FOCO's got you covered. You can head on over to FOCO. You can purchase merchandise, collectibles, toys, any sort of gear using the code PHLY, getting 10% off to get your merchandise so that you can make sure you're repping your squads when you're out and about or even just in your house, whatever works for you. Because FOCO has all things collectibles for sports, entertainment, whatever that may look like, bobbleheads, that they've got you covered. So it has been a lot of just excitement as we're talking through, clinching and now looking ahead. And thank you guys if you're enjoying my shirts. I'm like I've been bringing out my own merch here. This is not a PHLY shirt though, but just bringing out some merch. It's time to start repping the squad. It's time to start really for all of us, we're locked in even more. This is what we've been waiting for, to see how the team's going to be playing, to have these moments, and also now to look ahead to see who they're going to be facing. And as we're talking about, it's great that we're having this. Moments like last night are needed as you're building towards the longevity of the season of a deep playoff run, because that's what fuels you. You have these moments where you can take a step back, you can celebrate, you can be with your family, be with your teammates, be with your coaches and celebrate. And that high and the excitement helps carry you, that you're just floating on cloud 9, it feels like, versus having these games. You look at the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, who have been dropping a lot of results at this point of the season, even the Braves, who have had a really wonky September as we look at their ERA specifically. Those types of downs at this point of the season can be detrimental. You want to have not only momentum in how you're playing, but how you're feeling. So that way you're going in with that confidence and that swag, and that's what we've seen pay off. I mean, Nick Castellanos, Alec Boehm, great examples. JT, how he's been playing. Guys that are feeling it. And they're grooving. And even when they make a mistake or don't have as great of a play, because they've been doing so well, it just carries over and they're able to just get the next play or make the simple play sometimes.
Yeah, everybody always says, hockey is the one sport where it's just get in and anybody can make a run at it. While that's true, I almost think baseball is more of a just get in type of situation, because if you are playing your best ball, as we saw last year, you don't have to look much further than last year's Phillies team. They played their best ball in September and into the playoffs, and they just kind of caught fire and realized that, they had the firepower to go up against anybody. Hockey and baseball are the two, but I think you can even make the case that baseball, just get in, and if somebody gets hot, it can happen. And, I really think the Phillies lineup and the rotation and some of the bullpen pieces, if used properly, all have the potential to do that. And Rob Thompson's going to have a handful this postseason because his job's going to be difficult. There's no sugarcoating it.
Oh, yeah.
How quick is his hook with some starters? Who are the bullpen pieces in what situations? He's saying all the right things. He's guided them through this season of ups and downs and all that. But his job is going to be difficult here in the playoffs because he's going to have to push all the right buttons. Not so much offensively, and we'll talk about Reese, who he talked about this morning. That's pretty much a pipe dream to me.
Yeah.
I don't think Reese is really going to happen. He said he is running the bases. He's taking 75 to 80 swings a day. But he did say, it would take the World Series for Reese to make it back. And then at that point, if you are in the World Series, he's basically just a bat off the bench / pitch hitter.
Yeah.
Because he said he can't play first. Bryce will have to play first every day. And then Rojas has played his way into the lineup in such a big way. You have to push the right buttons with Rojas, Marsh, Schwarber, all that stuff. So I just don't think the Reese situation is one that's gonna play out, but it would be pretty freaking awesome if he gets an opportunity and then you're lucky enough to make the World Series.
Oh my god!
If he got to come out for a pinch hit in that situation, I can still remember Kyle Schwarber coming out for the Cubs and returning. And I was like, damn, this is really cool. And I wasn't a Cubs fan. So if Rhys is given that opportunity, it'll be a really special Philadelphia moment. But they got to get to the World Series to make that happen.
Honestly, I could see that happening. If they get to the World, they of course have to get to the World Series first. But this season has already had so many things that have been storylines and Hollywood-esque of just like the way it's unfolded. Again, I know we were talking about Orion on the show as many people were following Orion's progression before he got called up to the majors and saying, we wonder if he's going to be an option that they consider. Then a couple of days later, the news breaks. So there's been so many storylines, Rojas, these different players that have unfolded. It would be very special if we get to the World Series and Rhys Hoskins is able to come in and make a big play. But I know some people are saying they don't want to see Rhys, wrong R. Chris Pierce, you were saying you don't want to see Rhys at all in the playoffs. I mean, it's
a long time off.
It's a long time off.
To expect them to come back and just,
and it's hard to come back.
A bomb.
On the other side of that, it's hard to come back into the World Series of all times. You want to ease back in. You want to have some games that you can get under your belt feeling good versus being thrown into the fire, essentially. So it is something that I know a lot of people would love to see Rhys back out there. I'm one of them, but I could see both sides of it either way.
After hearing Rob this morning, I was like,
it doesn't seem too optimistic.
This seems like kind of a pipe dream. So there's your Rhys Hoskins update. I mean, he is running, he is hitting. Apparently he's making great strides, but I just do think it's a long shot. And then you have to juggle that DH spot because if Rhys can only be the DH, that means Schwarber's in left field.
And is he needed all that much? Is the other part of
and
it,
then you're taking Brandon Marsh's defense away from the Phillies, which defense in the postseason. And do you know that this blew my mind when I saw this? There's only one player in the National League that is errorless this season. Do you know who it is?
Rojas.
No. Nick Castellanos.
No way.
He is errorless on the year, which blew my mind.
Actually, I think Johan just had an error.
Yeah, so I think defense is huge come postseason. And when you have the possibility to have Schwarber as your DH with Marsh and Rojas and left and center, I mean, that's that's some freaky levels of defense. So you want that because Rojas can cover so much ground, and then Marsh pretty much he can even cheat over towards the line a little bit more because of how good Rojas is. And then does that playoff double that kills a team become a single if Marsh is out there? It probably does. So it's just Kyle Schwarber has to be your DH. Bryce is going to have to be your starting everyday first baseman. And luckily now they have the rest of this week to get some rest for some guys that need it. If I'm Rob Thompson, I say, hey, Craig, throw in the pen, do what you think you need to do to keep yourself ready. We're going to shut you down for the rest of this week, and maybe that'll help you. He has had a big workload this season. That might be part of the reason why. If you want to send him over to Germany to get a quick blood cycle, I'm good with that too. If you want to pump that up with some HGH and really push the envelope, I'm all for that. Do whatever the hell you think is necessary to get some of these guys physically right. I'm all about the German blood cycling.
I can tell.
Yeah, HGH that up. Let's go. Shoot them up.
But I mean, look, and I know you guys are jumping in on the conversation as well, John. You've got some points you're making, but for Rhys specifically, I think a couple weeks ago, we were all high on Rhys Hoskins coming back. We were watching Rhys in his return, getting some runs in, hitting, and it was optimistic that he might be able to get back earlier on in the playoffs. And the team was kind of in a spot where we were we felt like you needed something to shake things up a bit. But now I think on the defensive side, as you talk about, but also just with the batting order and how well the Phillies have been hitting, minus last night's 5 hits, but that's okay. Overall,
they were timely and it worked.
They hit. It was fine when they needed a big hit. Rojas was there. Overall, offensively, there's no need. It's not like we're desperate in that sense and have to have somebody come in that can get hits and help them score. But I think it's just nice to at least continue to see him working back. But overall, I would like to have him back from I I feel bad almost, and I would like.
I'm
and
sure
I like
he's
Reese.
heartbroken about this.
Of course, like you're as a player, you're watching your team celebrate. You've been a part of this organization.
Yeah, that had to be tough for him last night.
And you're in the clubhouse, and you're knowing that you're not able to take the field with them, and you want to be able to go to battle with your brothers, and you know you can't do that. But on the other side of it, sometimes as they're talking about, it's not about me. It's about what's best for the team, and sometimes you do have to take that hard look in the mirror and understand it's not me coming into the mix. That's not what's best for the team right now, even though selfishly, I'm sure Reese absolutely wants to be back, definitely wants to be back out there.
Yeah,
so,
and Tim Williamson's in the comments just addressing the Nick Castellanos errorless thing. Look, I'm not telling you that he is a gold glove right fielder.
Yeah, he's not perfect.
It is a slightly misleading, but it just kind of blew my mind when I saw he was the only National League outfielder that was errorless. But it's a credit to Nick because, I mean, from where he started last year as a defensive player to where he is now is night and day.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nick Castellanos, he's having a career year for us, even though it didn't feel like it at times. That was more of me just giving him credit. He's become a better baseball player in his time in Philadelphia, which not everybody does. He started out slow, but he's having a career year in RBIs. He became a better fielder. I mean, hell, that play last week in Atlanta, the double play, that's a memorable Phillies moment where if you do make a run and win a World Series this year and we're popping bottles and eating horse poop on Broad Street, not me, but somebody else will, you might look back at that Castellanos double play in foul territory and go, holy shit, that was the play that could have, given you that extra little bit of whatever you needed to get over the hump and make guys really believe or whatever. And this is why, soccer, I know, Renee, is your wheelhouse and it's the beautiful game and it is beautiful. To me, baseball, when it's when everything's going on all cylinders, it's the beautiful game to me because there's so, I know I'm not trying to take it away from soccer.
Why do you throw soccer in the mix?
Because it's the beautiful game. It's the beautiful game. I think baseball is equally romantic and beautiful.
Okay, I was like,
I'm not taking away from soccer. I am a soccer fan.
Why is soccer catching a stray right now?
Because they're the beautiful game. That's all. I didn't name them that.
Coming at me in soccer right now. No, it is. I get that. It is.
There's something romantic about baseball.
I was gonna say poetic.
Sure.
It is very. It's very. Yeah, just the way that it kind of flows and the different moments that you have. It is a beautiful game also.
Yeah,
for
there
sure.
You go.
They can both be beautiful.
Yeah.
But I have really been paying close attention to those. It's the middle guys. I mean, I think when we talk about championships for any sport, any team, it's not just the superstars that help you. Obviously, you need the Bryce Harpers and the Bryson Stotts and your big names, Kyle Schwarber, to be playing well. But you also need to have those middle of the pack guys that can make a big play. And we're talking about Nick Castellanos specifically. Brandon Marsh yesterday. You look at the plays that they've made. They're game-saving, game-changing plays that they're making, and to have those be your middle guys in itself is encouraging because across the batting order, across the bullpen, across just the roster in general, the Phillies have some scary depth. And that is something that this team, as we talk about being built for October, November, we're going to really see play off. As beautiful as the season has been so far, it's only going to get better from here. We haven't even talked about Orion, and I know the Phillies are very hopeful and optimistic that Orion's going to be able to pitch in the postseason. There's even more to come for the depth paying off in big moments where everybody kind of gets their time to shine when it's needed. So
and Orion is basically going to be taking the spot of Reese, who's on the IL. If Reese was healthy, you'd probably have to fake a Soto injury or somebody else if you wanted him on the roster. But because of Reese's inactiveness on the roster, that allows Orion, because of the August 31st deadline, to slide right in there and hopefully play a big role. I don't know why. I would never say after one inning of performance would I say throw this kid into the fire and, kind of when you need that shot of adrenaline or energy or 99-mile-an-hour fastball, I'm throw that kid in there.
Yeah.
it's weird. I don't normally feel like that. But yeah, throw that kid in there.
Yeah, I know. And look, we talked about it after Sunday's game. It was only one inning, but it was so encouraging to see that one inning of the composure, the confidence, just Mr. Calm, Cool, and Collected Orion, and just the way that he shined in that inning. We didn't even see him. Well, we saw him celebrating in the clubhouse yesterday, but obviously he didn't take the mound. And now we're itching to see what he's going to do in his next play, what he's going to do when he's back out there again. So that's something that we haven't even had a chance to fully see 2 innings of him yet. We're excited for that. I know, John, you're saying your wife, her favorite player is Chef Castellanos. Yeah, we all know why. The backwards hat yesterday even had me swooning a little bit. I like Nick Castellanos' swag and how he brings the edge to the clubhouse.
Yeah, John, your wife does not like Nick because of his performance on the field or his relationship with Liam.
Nope.
Yeah, he's my daughter's teacher's favorite player. And it was funny, last year I was picking, shout out to Miss Kelly. She's a huge Phillies fan, so I would send Skylar in her uniform and hat during the playoffs, and we talked a lot of Phillies, and she goes, yeah, Castellanos is my favorite player. And I was like, yeah, he's really coming around. He's starting to play really well. She goes, yeah, that's why I like him. And I was like, okay. So he's the sex factor on the Phillies team. I guess Chase Utley was that back in the day, and now Castellanos gets the torch and runs with it. So kudos to Nick for being the sex symbol of the team. That's got to be pretty cool.
Sex symbol of the team.
He's encouraging Rojas to show some skin.
I like it. I feel like
he's the little wing guy. He's kind of like the swag guy of the team.
I feel like the Phillies have a good-looking team. Like, I don't watch sports. I will never be that woman that's watching sports because I just want to see the good-looking men in their uniforms. That's not me. But like when you compare them to other teams, like you've got a variety there. I know for anybody whose wives or maybe are like,
my wife has taught my daughter to say "Stoddy too hottie." So like now she calls him Stoddy too hottie.
They have a little bit of everything. You get like the frat boy look, you've got the cool guy look, you've got the long hair and the locks.
Schwarber for us, like beefy dad bods. By the way, him running third to home, was that last night or was that?
Oh my gosh!
His little legs just get pumping there, and I'm like, that's like me running for the Buffalo Chicken Dip on a football Sunday. Like we very much are the same there.
He's not there for the speed, that's for sure. Because when he's running, it's pretty entertaining.
You got a little bit of everything for everybody.
They have variety. They've got different heights and sizes, and then even different, like you've got Spanish and it's
John
it's
Dickerson says my 96-year-old mom loves Schwarber.
They've got guys that cater to whatever type women have.
Yeah. And you know what else is my type? That would be DraftKings. And I did take the Phillies last night on the money line, luckily not the run line. And look, football is back. We'll be back in action tomorrow night for some Thursday night football. I think the Birds are going to blow out that team from DC on Sunday. That might be my play of the week. I think this is about to be ugly on Sunday. But DraftKings is keeping you in all the NFL action with offers every single game day. New customers can take advantage of this new offer. $5 can get you $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw $5 down on any of this week's epic matchups and walk away an instant winner. And for you existing customers, don't worry, DraftKings has got you. You can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Football's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the app now and sign up using code PHLY. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL with code PHLY. All right, Renee, this is where you get the timer ready. Because I am about to buzz through this like Red October, the disclaimer of DraftKings. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.com/DraftKings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
35.01.
All right, that's my playoff mark. I got to beat here as we get into Red October. Everybody's got to play like a champion.
We all got to step our game up.
Yeah. I saw Trey Turner grab that tequila bottle right away last night, and I said, that guy's got the heart of a champion in him. He's not wasting time with Budweisers. He's going, give me that expensive tequila. I know what's up.
Tequila. Absolutely. Yeah. You gotta be better than 35. It's
35,
definitely time to raise the bar here.
Yeah.
I know people are bringing Taryn Hatcher into the conversation. Hey, that's my former soccer teammate there.
Is it really?
We grew up together. We played soccer together for many years. She's beautiful. We love Taryn.
Yeah.
Look, it is a bunch of studs.
I think she's getting a lot of compliments in the chat.
She is getting a lot of compliments. I'm like, hello. What about me? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a bunch of good looking guys. They're talented. I know Stubbs had a lot of people swooning. I'm gonna keep using that word.
He's a fun dude.
Lisa was in the chat saying like seeing him in the overalls.
Yeah, that was funny.
Even though he's a lot younger.
And Rob Thompson, I think it was Tom McCarthy, asked him in the locker room, like, you having fun with Stubbs over there? And the look Rob gave about Stubbs, like, you can just tell he's like the glue guy. He is the locker room DJ.
Oh, he puts
that
the
together.
Guy.
But Rob was like, he kind of talked about him like, yeah, that's my idiot son. Like it was like that kind of relationship where like you're like, yeah, I love that kid. So Stubbs is that. Stubbs and I think Castellanos are the two vibes guy for the locker room.
But that's why I was watching it unfold, and I'm like, and I know John's saying Alvarado brought in 3 bottles of Don Julio. Like he brought in the tequila. We got Stubbs who's got the music and the overalls. We've got Nick and Brandon who are the rappers of the group. Like they're each bringing in their own personality to add to the show, and that's
the
what
total
makes it fun.
wine MSRP on a Don Julio 1942 tequila
$349.
Oh, see. This is out of my price range, so I was unaware. $164.99.
Huh.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
But I think Alvarado had like 2 or 3 of those at one point.
He absolutely did.
So my question, and this is the way my dumb brain works. Obviously, the team provides the champagne and beer. The tequila, is that on the players, or does the team pick that up? We're gonna have to do some digging there.
There is a weird. Weirdly that I know this, there is a bundle that you can buy with the Don Julio and the Clase Azul tequila. Like they sell those in a bundle. I think that's what's $349 actually.
That would make sense.
That number actually makes more sense. But yeah, they like that's. I think they have. Oh, Greg said I'm pretty. Thank you, Greg. I think that is. Probably on them to provide.
Probably.
I definitely would provide the drinks. I love that they brought out cigars. I'm a cigar person.
Yeah, the Holtz Cigar Company in Holtz. If you want to advertise with us, come on board. Great local cigar company. I saw their bag got a nice place.
Are you a cigar person?
From time to time.
Oh,
I'd say I probably have like 3 to 4 a year.
Oh, okay.
So not very often.
Yeah.
I have to be sitting down when I have a cigar. I'll have one during golf if if the boys are being the boys and getting the stogies going. But like, I don't like the constant pick up, put down. I like to be like lounge and like they relax me. So I just like to kind of chill.
They are very relaxing.
Like the beach is the perfect place for it, but then you have to move away from like families and stuff, and then you're removing yourself. So. In a perfect world.
The celebratory cigar is interesting.
I would definitely have a cigar in the locker room last night.
Yeah, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
But that is, I don't mind either way. I'm like, okay, John is saying only that the beer and champagne is provided. Somehow
I would think the tequila's on them.
And it looked like it because the way they had it set up, it seemed like the team had put them in the coolers or whatever for them.
It looked like guys ran to their locker to get the tequila. Let's take a look at
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Let's take a look at the wild card picture as we're kind of wrapping up the day here. Obviously, thank you, Atlanta Braves, Chicago Cubs. It appears they just don't want to make the playoffs or something. They have been talking about a team leaking oil and blowing every opportunity. Even when the Phillies kind of went on that little losing streak there temporarily, the Cubs couldn't take advantage. They kept losing too. So they lose to the Braves last night. The Diamondbacks are now 5 games behind the Phillies. The Phillies obviously have locked up the top seed in the wild card. Diamondbacks have a 1-game lead over the Cubs, and the Marlins are right on the Cubs' heels at a half game back. San Fran, they're all but dead. Players are starting to talk weird about Gabe Kapler again. Who knows if his time is up there. And then the Reds, it might be too much for them, but they're a game and a half out there of the final spot. So it's going to be an interesting final week. I'm definitely going to be scoreboard watching a lot. And like we said, it's probably going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks, I would think, is the team that's going to be coming in here next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the divisional series will start on the 7th, that's Saturday. So that's what next week looks like. Scoreboard watching here the rest of the week.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to bet the Pirates today, I completely understand it. I would think these Phillies are not feeling tip-top today.
Yeah. No, nope. I'm not expecting anything big
San
from the
Fran
Phillies
is
today.
officially eliminated, according
I was
to
going to say the Giants have officially been eliminated, but also for the first time in 30 years, we're not going to see a Major League playoffs with the Yankees, Red Sox, or Cardinals, which is very weird. 30 years of having at least one of them in the playoffs, and we're having none of them in the playoffs. That's just it's wild. But
Baltimore Orioles just blew that division apart this year.
I was gonna say it's a sign of a change of the tides. I guess you can say whatever you want to call it, but it's great to be on the positive side of all the celebrations and clinching, because there are a lot of teams right now that have absolutely been getting eliminated. They're in their final days. They're winding down their season. Their teams are dropping the ball and not closing out to be able to secure a wild card spot. So we're sitting pretty over here, Jamie, with how the Phillies have been.
Yeah, and Gabe Basine said Sosa's going deep tonight. So if you want to take a long shot odds home run play on DraftKings, go for Sosa. He looked like he was having a good time last night. Tim Williamson says, any guesses on when the Phillies are going to play on the 3rd? I would guess that they are a daytime game because they tend to they like to go 1-1 NL, AL, and then NL, AL again. But they do like having the West Coast teams play at the later time. So I would think, it's just a guess. There's no rumors out there or anything yet. I would guess they are, maybe that 4 o'clock type of game, something like that. But there's always the possibility they're I think it starts at 12.
Yeah.
12 to 4, 6, and 8, something like that. Whatever it may be, but I would imagine it's going to be a day game if I had to guess.
Yeah, Mickey's guessing night games. I know people have actually been tagging us on the X or Twitter, asking us about.
You don't have to say
if
X,
we know.
it's Twitter.
I don't want them to flag us and take our stuff down. It is Twitter. It will always be Twitter.
I still call the venue across the river the Tweeter Center. Sometimes I still call it the Wells Fargo Center, the Electric Factory, 3 blocks away. It's now Franklin Music? No, it's the Electric Factory. I'm just going to call things.
It's electric.
What
woogie,
is
woogie.
In my heart and soul, and it's always going to be Twitter.
Okay.
X.
It is Twitter. Jamie has spoken.
It's Twitter.
So it is still up in the air with exactly when the game times are, but we do know we are going to be tuned in for the pregame shows and postgame shows. If it is a nice 3 o'clock game, it makes it even better that we can break out our drinks and start early without having to start too early.
As a washed old dad, I really want day games.
I would love a day game. It also means that we can day celebrate, day drink, and be done during the day instead of it being 10 o'clock when it's bedtime. But we've got more exciting things to come because Red October is around the corner, guys. Break out the victory song because the Phillies got the win. All right, more to come here on PHLY Phillies podcast as we continue following all the fun.
Clowns!
It's always at the end that Jamie comes out with the most ridiculous thing. But thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the show. Be sure to subscribe, comment, show us love across YouTube and podcast platforms. If you miss us live, you can always listen back. Listen, a lot of our takes and a lot of our thoughts here that we're saying have been panning out correctly. So that's always also encouraging to see that we're predicting things and it's actually coming into fruition. And the next thing we're predicting is some victories. 13 of those in the postseason.
Just 13 more.
Just
when
lucky
you put
number
in that
13.
context, it's not that hard,
not that
right?
Much. That's
just
not that
13
much.
more wins.
With all the games you play in a season, it all comes down to 13. So it all comes down to that, and we've got more here to come. There it is, lucky number 13. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back for more here tomorrow as we've got a pregame and a postgame show here for PHLY Phillies podcast. For Jamie and myself, Renee, have a good one. See you next time.
All silly like the mayor.